So a few moments ago, we had a eureka moment, an epiphany, as my cohort Richard calls it, where I had a realization about this free energy component in the device that I'm planning to build. I don't know if the camera can see it very well, but basically what it does is it allows you to send complex motions into a resonant circuit, meaning a large flywheel with various components, and it does so by sending the pulses through a base here, but these are strands or rods really that have been stranded of carbon for strength and nickel iron for electrical conductivity, and possibly some copper as well up through the core, or distributed throughout. I haven't quite figured out exactly the electromagnetic circuits that will exist in here for highest possible effect, but there will be at least two different, possibly three different types of conductors of force and electricity used in this stranded arrangement, which serves as a flexible coupling to drive a much larger resonant circuit, which is actually all the way out to these dimensions or greater. It's more elliptical. But at any rate, this is the depiction of the coupling itself, that will also have some sort of fluid dynamic intermediary element that can be controlled irrespective of these elements, meaning you can beat different torque signatures off of one another through resistance and then in turn non-resistance to force. At any rate, we're going to try to be able to pulse every dimension of the force field of this machine, both electromechanically and through inertial and gravitational changes that can be affected by or occasioned by resonance being introduced into this circuit. Now, yes, this is all heresy. Yes, this is all, in many people's minds, pseudoscience, because it's never been done before, or at least it's only been done in a flash in the pan kind of way. But what I want to do is try to max out the total engineering and innovative potential of humankind at this moment, and build the most powerful free energy machine in the world, and never skimp on efficiency, because we want something like this to last for 50 to 100 years without having to be replaced. Such a flexible coupling I don't know has ever been built before, certainly not for this purpose of rotating a complex rotating machine, meaning it's not rotating in merely one dimension, but will have many rotating elements and therefore a lot of interesting gyroscopic dynamics, but we're going to try to alter those also through the application of resonance to those elements, meaning that we can achieve an altered inertial condition for the entire object. Why? Well, if you want to know, we're going to have to retitle this entire video because that's an entirely different subject, but it has to do with time energy. If inertia is the resistance to change in motion, change is time. It's the time t variable. So resistance to t can be reduced. I could be Mr. Resistance to t. That's what I could be. And the point is, resistance to time, changes in time, changes in mass, changes in motion, can be altered through the application of certain torque or torsion principles that are known more widely throughout the dissident science community. Look up Shipov in Russia, S-H-I-P-O-V. Look up Lathwaite, Eric Lathwaite. Look up Bruce De Palma. All of them experimented with unusual force machines and believed that it was possible to leverage the forces inherent in a gyroscope against space itself for inertial propulsion purposes. Now, in a machine that's generating its own electricity that takes advantage of gravity field or inertial field dynamics, it's only about trying to increase the efficiency of the electrical components. But when it's used purely as a propulsion element, then we can talk about lifting off. Then we can talk about space stations or high altitude cloud cities or hydrogen harvesting webs of satellites that can go out into nebulae and set up new colonies for humanity on the edge of some great galactic rift. What if we are actually cosmic explorers 200 years from now, but we just don't know it? And the only way we got there was that we built these free energy and anti-gravity machines with novel principles not being developed anywhere else at the time. Because if it was something that you just overlooked in your basic physics studies, it would probably be false. But there are interesting basic physics experiments, like sending a high current through water, through a very destructive arc discharge in water. You get an explosive effect that produces more energy out than in. By launching certain objects through a mechanism known as a railgun, you achieve non-Newtonian velocity energy balance at the time of launch and at the time of impact, because there's this, well, interesting thing at launch anyway is that you are able to launch a javelin with much less energy than you'd imagine, and yet it will travel at near light speed in space or something, and that's why it could be used to harpoon another satellite, or it could be used to destroy an incoming missile or something, and that's what the military has done with the railgun. But what can you and I do with these principles? Can we launch ourselves to new heights of space development and planet colonization? And anyway, an epiphany moment like this is when the future streams in at an appreciable rate. Appreciable meaning you can appreciate it. You're receiving it. You're like, oh, well, that window just opened and I got to see a whole new vista. You know, and this is the first time I'd so clearly visualized this thing, and it was in an instant, in a flash, which makes me think there are wormholes in thought at the very least. Because the future streams in sometimes through those wormholes, and you're like, whoa, I just saw a bright flash! And this is one of them. So, one of our bright flashes was the idea that Richard and I should be doing rants like this. And we've got some in the can now, but it'll be more important for us to walk our talk and build that free energy and anti-gravity culture than it will be to say even 10 more words about the mere possibility of it. But you can look elsewhere for videos about how we are really building this revolution right now. So enjoy the future. It's going to be great. We're already there. Isn't that a relief? Isn't that a relief?